Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Steve. Today, I'm going to teach all of you beginners who are trying to use Final Cut Pro the easiest way to edit your audio. This isn't the best way to edit your audio. This is just the easiest for us beginners. So I did some research online and I found that there were pretty much 3 plugins you could use just to make your audio sound a little bit better, so maybe that much better, rather than just recording in your microphone and your camera and just uploading your video to YouTube. So I have Final Cut Pro open and I'll show you what I use. And if you want, you can go to youtube.com/ScreenSanctum or this channel to hear how my audio sounds. And if you think it sounds okay, then use my settings. So it's really simple. And let me just get over here right now to Final Cut. All right, so we're in Final Cut Pro. You should be able to hear me now, and then I'm going to mute myself, and then you should be able to hear my audio that's straight out of my camera. So let me just mute my audio. Out my audio, I'm going to place this audio into Final Cut Pro, and I'm going to show you which audio settings I use for my videos. So it doesn't sound that bad, really at all. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to mute that because I'm going to have it play so you could see a few things. Okay. If you see right now, I have it going. Right here is the audio levels. These are the levels coming straight out of my Sony ZV-E10. As you can see, they're maxing and averaging around -12 decibels. That's a number that we're going to need for these plugins. So I'll just hit pause here. I'll bring it back to the beginning. What you want to do first, once you have your video in the timeline, is go right here. And these are your effects browser. So you click right here. And that'll bring up all of these effects. You don't have to worry about going through them yet. Just go down here to the search bar and then type in compressor. Once you hit COMP, they'll show up over here. And you want right here, Logic Compressor. Just drag it right there. The second thing we want is an EQ. So I'll go back down here, delete comp, just press EQ, and then right here, channel EQ. Drag that to your timeline. Okay, so we have our compressor and our equalizer. Those are the 2 plugins we're going to use. Now we could just hit this again right here, the effects browser, to close it. So once you have those dropped in, all you have to do is go up here now to the little audio, because we're messing with the audio. And once you're here, you just click on your timeline, and right down on the bottom when you scroll, you'll see compressor and channel EQ. Now, before I go in tweaking those, all I do is hit voice isolation. I just click this button and I don't mess with anything else. And that usually takes out the little background noises. So I'll hit voice isolation and that'll do its thing. Now we're ready to use the compressor and the EQ. Go back, scroll down. What I do is I uncheck channel EQ because I don't want to hear anything and I don't want to mess with that. I just want to do compressor first, EQ second. So I'll unclick channel EQ so I know the EQ isn't doing nothing right now to my clip. And then I'm going to work with the compressor. It's already checked. So now I just click on this square right here and it brings up the interface. Remember how I said when we played this audio, it was, averaging around 12. Now you can see it's at -6. Don't worry, because for some reason this compressor defaults auto gain to 0 decibels. I never use that. I click off. The first thing I do is click the button off. Okay. Now when I press play again, you can see it's now at -20. And that's because there is some threshold and attack stuff that's defaulted. Don't worry about that. All we have to remember is when we first put our clip in here, the audio was at -12. That's all we need to know right now. Why is that? Because when you go to threshold, I like to set my threshold at 6, I guess below my average. So since I was at -12, I want to set my threshold at around -18. And all you have to do is move this slider. And sometimes I set it at 17.5, negative. So remember, I started at -12. I want to subtract 6. So I go from -12 to -18 or 17.5 on this right here. Now with the threshold, I usually have this 3-to-1. They say 3-to-1, 4-to-1. I put it around 3-to-1. I don't do makeup gain yet. So for the knee, I usually make this around 0.6. The attack, I usually have at 4. And then the release, I usually bring all the way to the side to about 5. So now when I hit play, and there's not going to be any audio, you're not going to hear it, you're just going to look at the meter. So I press play. And now, as you can see, it's still around -12, but we need to add some gain. I like to keep my audio between -12 and -6. So what we do is makeup gain, and that's this knob right here. And I just raise it until it gets to about there. So I'm right between -12 and -6, and that's where I want it to be. And right now, that's all I do as far as my compressor. So right now, we just go back into this section in the top right-hand corner, scroll down. Now we have to recheck channel EQ. All right. Now we go right here to the square, click it. And here is our EQ. So what am I going to be using? I'll be using the light blue dot, the teal dot, the green dot, the yellow dot, and then at the end, I use the red dot, but right now it's unchecked, so don't worry about that. All right, let me go in here. First, I'm going to click on the blue, okay? You'll see these 2 lines that show up once you click it. All you need to do is grab one line, drag it together, and now you have a skinny line. Once you drag the dot all the way up, you're going to hit play and listen to the frequencies. And when you hit one that's really annoying, you're just going to drop it all the way down. So you're kind of muting really annoying frequencies. So I'm going to play it and I'm going to show you or let you listen to what I would do. Out my audio, I'm going to place this audio into Final Cut Pro, and I'm going to show you which audio settings I use for my videos that make my audio. So it looks like at 2450, it's really annoying. So I just drag it down to about 5, 2450. I do the same thing with teal. Click it, make it thin, drag it up, hit play. It will just sound better than it would if I just recorded and uploaded as it is. This is for beginners. There are tens of plugins you could throw in. So at 700 Hertz, that sounds probably the worst in that area. So at 700 Hertz, I drag it down. Make sure it stays at 700. Do the same thing with green. Like limiters and all of that. But we want to be able to use Final Cut Pro if we're learning. We want to use it like, so it's pretty bad at 235 Hertz. So I'll drag it down. And then same with yellow. Want it simplified. So I did some research and there were 3 settings that they said that we could use to make our audio sound better. So that's what I'm going to show you now. And 126 sounds pretty annoying, so I'll drop this down. Okay. And then the last thing I do is I activate the red one by clicking this. And all I do is just drag it to the right. That's all. Just drag it to about there. And what this does, supposedly, and I trust the professionals, it helps to take out some more background noise. So now I did my compressor, my EQ, and I also clicked on voice isolation. So now this is the audio that I would use when I upload it. So I'll press play. I'm just testing out my audio. I'm going to place this audio into Final Cut Pro. I think it sounds pretty good, and it's between the -6 and -12 that I like. And that's it. Whenever I have my clips, all my speaking audio, I do that every time. I don't set any templates because you never know what noise is going to be, like new noise will be in your video. So I always do it every time. And that's pretty much it. So if you're recording and you're trying to figure out how to use Final Cut Pro and you want to edit your audio, this is what I do. And I think it sounds pretty good. So let me know in the comments below. Do you think it sounds pretty good? I think it does. So remember, it's just a compressor, an EQ, and clicking on voice isolation, And that's pretty much it. So like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, guys.